we just pulled up to Guadalupe River State Park, and I wasn't gonna film down here, but it's pretty empty and quiet right now, so I got here kind of early on a Friday, so I figure now might be the best time to film. But this is it. Came in down here, came up, this is the campsite areas. We just went straight to the river. So we are gonna check out the river. This is sort of the heart of the park, and then there's a bunch of trails in the northern section north of the river. I don't think we're gonna get to those this time, but I do want to come back and explore up there. I think this trip we're going to stick to the kind of core of the park, the whole southern section. Guadalupe River State Park is about 2 hours southwest of Austin, and its main feature, of course, is the Guadalupe River. And there's a big kind of area down here where everybody can splash about and play in the water, so it's not too crowded right now. A lot of kids splashing about. Also a lot of armadillos. I was here 15 minutes before bumping into an armadillo because I went and checked out one of the 2 bird blinds in this park. There's one right here kind of near the main river area, and then there's another one sort of south of here, kind of in the dead center of the park. So we'll try and hit up both of those at some point. Oh, dang, I wish I had my DSLR. There's a painted bunting right there. Can't win. I keep bringing the wrong cameras. That's the painted bunting that I just saw. I've definitely seen this guy. Tons of these guys. I had to make sure I was in the right spot. I got a tent pad. Looks relatively flat. We got some neighbors over that way. Some across the way. Some other ones down there. We got a picnic table. Fire pit. Little area back here. Pretty cool looking tree. And then we're kind of nestled on a ridge. And I think back over that way is where we started, down by the river. It's a little bit of a walk down there, but yeah. This will be the base of operations from here on in. You got your main components of a tent. This guy right here is your tarp or ground sheet. That goes down first, and that's mainly to protect the bottom of your tent from twigs and sticks and rocks and bullshit. This is what I'm holding in my hand, the body of the tent. That's the main compartment of the tent, the main cavity, the main place where UB is. And then this guy here is your fly, and that is your first line of defense against rain, and also offers, for this particular tent, a degree of privacy that one would desire. Step one is going to be staking this tent down so it does not fly away, because it's actually kind of breezy. These tent pads are pretty hard, so having a mallet is kind of mission critical, because it's sort of difficult to... Ooh, I stood up too fast. All the blood's rushing to my head. It's kind of difficult to pound stakes into ground that is very compact and solid. Okay, we got our tarp and tent body staked down. Now we've got our poles. Now, if memory serves, it's been a minute since I've set this particular tent up. I think we have, yep, we have 2 sets of poles. A big, huge, honking spider-looking one, and a really small, short, little guy. This is your spider pole configuration. And this is going to be the main structural support for this tent. And on the ends of these, there are little posts. And those little posts go down into a grommet there. This is kind of tricky to do in tight quarters. Come on, get in the hole. Come on. Come on. Bullseye. We did it. That's what's up. That's the hard part. It's just getting that first 2 set. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There we go. All right. So that's sort of what you're working with. That is your main structure. And there's a center here. This guy. And you just sort of hook him on both of those. And then there's all these other ones, smaller ones. And they just snap onto your poles. Most tents follow relatively similar designs. Alright, now comes our last little guy. Our last little guy goes across the top to pull out the sides of this tent. Voila! By Joe, we've got a tent. I'm particularly fond of this tent because it's very large and the majority of it is mesh. And when you live in Texas, mesh is mission critical. I also like this tent because it's got great big huge honking doors on it. So it makes it easier to get in and out of. And this is the One Tigress Jovian 4-person tent, I believe. And the last bit we have is the Rainfly. I'm going to wait to put that on until it's a little darker and cools down a little bit, because I don't want to trap heat in here. But that goes over this whole thing and keeps the rain from soaking through the mesh. But there you go. It's a basic 4-person tent setup. This thing's pretty cool. This is a very large, very sturdy cot. And I prefer sleeping on cots when I'm doing drive-up camping because you can, since you're not carrying everything on your back, and it's a lot more comfortable getting up and down in the middle of the night. Get you up off the ground. And the way this is designed is pretty nifty. You basically have 4 brackets and 2 poles, and the 2 poles go through your fabric kind of bed base, or whatever you want to call it, the actual like cot part, and they pull it tight, sort of like a old military stretcher that they use to grab casualties off the battlefield. I also like using the picnic table to set this up, so it makes it a little bit easier. So that's your main cot. Next, what you're going to do is take your bracket, and this guy is going to hook around that pole right in there. Same on this side. And you kind of have to start it down low, and then you just snap it closed. And now you've got your leg bracket base, and then a bunch of little footies are going to go in each of these sockets, and that'll get it up off the ground. Just in case you didn't see that. So there's your cot. You got a sleeve right here to tuck your pillow into so it doesn't fly away from you in the night. You got a place for your phone and your glass of warm milk. And it's pretty dang sturdy. I believe it's rated up to 400 pounds. So, yeah. We're going to be extra bougie and put a self-inflating air pad on top of that. For in the evening, so I ain't bumbling around in the dark. I got some string lights. This is my lantern. Also got a little speaker, but I tend not to use this because you don't want to be loud and obnoxious and disturb your fellow camping neighbors who came out here to enjoy the woods as much as you did. It's rude to blast music and make a bunch of racket. At least I feel like it's rude. What do we have for dinner? Nothing too complex. We have some leftover tacos from lunch and a Caesar salad. That's all I got. Alright. Sun's slowly going down. I think we're gonna finish the tent here. Ooh, windy, windy, windy. Oh, how does this thing go? You always want your rain fly to be pulled off of your tent body. This improves ventilation and keeps your tent from leaking. It's fucking dirt. Come on now. Make me kick your ass. So, as you can see, the rain fly completely covers the tent, keeps water from getting inside, and you've got a little vestibule space. I'll bring this flap down at night. You can store stuff in here. There you have it. The tent is effectively pitched. We have our first visitor. It's the old armadillo. What's the dillo? They love to come out here and just play in the leaves. Probably looking for bugs. Oh, he's coming right for us. Give him some space. You're welcome anytime, little buddy. Go over here and see if we can see anything down the ridge here. It's dusk, so the little critters like to come out. I don't see anything yet. The last time I came out here, there was a little silver fox and a couple armadillos. Car camping is very luxurious. way more than backpacking. This is better than some of the hotel rooms I've stayed in over the years. But I'm definitely tired, so I think I'm probably gonna relax and peruse the internet, because you do actually get some cell service out here, which is nice, and start winding down for bed. Good morning. I am going to start packing up and make some breakfast and hit the trails. This cot can be a little finicky to pack. I find the legs going along the bottom, followed by the support poles, followed by the brackets that hold the legs, and then lastly the canvas top of the cot seems to be the best way to get everything back from whence it came. But I find that bit of kit absolutely amazing, that you can fit that big of a cot in that small of a form factor. The trick to this is having an approximation of how small you need to fold it. Unfortunately, I done tore my sack yesterday, so I'm gonna have to probably find an alternative. But for the time being, it's gonna go back into this guy. So the way I do with this tent is I want to fold it kind of into thirds. This will be my guide, and we're gonna take it we're gonna make sure that none of this is damp, because the last thing you want to do is pack away a wet tent. That will lead to mold and mildew and the smell. And I take the stakes and the poles and roll them up in here. And we're going to try and get this as tight and consistent as we can. I fell because I was standing on my sack, and I tried to lift my sack while I was standing on it still. Let's try that last bit again. I rolled this way too long. guess what? It's not going back in the sack. The sack is torn anyway. This right here is why I'm a professional and why you should never try this at home.